What's up, everybody? This is John here at MetalAviation.com, and I got a little package from my boys at Buddy RC the other day. I did pay for it. They didn't give it to me. I'm not sponsored by anybody. I haven't reached that that level on YouTube yet. But it's always cool to get a package in the mail. It's almost like Christmas time, right? But before I dump out what's in here and show it to you and what I'm going to do with it, I do have a little rant, and that's in regards to receivers. So right now I use SPEKTRUM receivers in most of my planes because I have a bunch left over from all the years of buying them and planes that came with them, bind and fly, all that good stuff. So I have a decent amount of those receivers, and I use the RadioMaster transmitter, which binds to those and works no problem. My issue is the new stuff. I've been buying a few new planes here and there, and to be honest, I'm done and tired of all the bullshit that they put on these receivers, right? It's got the stabilizers, you have safe, different modes of safe, and I'm done. I am so done trying to figure out how to bind it with and without. And I'm not stupid, I can do it, but it's nonsense, right? I just want to put the receiver in, bind it, go fly. I don't need safe, I don't need stabilization, I don't need any of that bullshit. I just need a receiver that works well, right? And one would say, and I would usually be the one that says this, that who cares if it has all that extra stuff, right? Just use it with the basics and all the rest is gravy. Maybe down the road you'll use it. Well, it's just a pain to set it up. It's a pain to bind it and go through the processes, to bind it this way, to use it that way, to not use it. And I'm done. These ASX3, AS3X, X3, whatever they are, I am done with that bullshit. I want a regular receiver. I want to just fly my plane. I don't need stabilization. Don't need safe. I can fly. If it's windy, I can compensate for it. Great. You want to use stabilization? Go use it. You want to use safe? Use it. I have nothing against it. But for me, I am so done dicking around with all that stuff. I just want a receiver that works with my RadioMaster, which is pretty much anything because it's multi-protocol, and then I can just set up like I did back 10 years ago, right? Call me an old fart or whatever. I just don't need that stuff and don't want it anymore. I'm done. I tried to like it. I tried to be open to it, but it's just too much dicking around. That being said, I started doing a little bit of research because one thing I do want is I want battery telemetry. They put all this shit on these receivers, but they don't make it simple to where I can monitor my battery on the transmitter. To me, that's more important than all the other stuff. If you're flying around, your battery dies, you're going to crash your plane, right? If you're flying a plane that has safe and you go out of safe and crash, you're flying because you don't know how to fly. That's why you crash. Safe and the receiver has nothing to do with it, right? So why is it that it's such a pain to find any information or to set up the battery telemetry or whatever it's called? I think they're calling it VBAT. That makes no sense because what's the V stand for? I understand it's voltage, but that would be voltage battery if BAT stands for battery. What's that got to do with telemetry, right? Should be called TBAT or something like that. I don't know. Makes no sense. So I'm searching around, after I'm done ranting to myself about these receivers, and I'm like, what? I gotta find something that's got the battery and a regular receiver. If it does all the other telemetry, that's great. I don't need to set it up. I just want to monitor my voltage. Now the irony here is that me wanting to monitor my voltage. Anybody that knows me, flies with me, or maybe has been watching these videos and catching a lot of the things that I say, I fly till the battery's dead. I don't put a timer on and go, oh, I'm at 2 minutes, I better land. I fly till that battery is dead, and then I dead stick it in, right? That's how I was taught to fly. But when I learned how to fly 20 years ago, the dude that taught me was hardcore. He's like, if you can't fly till the motor runs out and dead stick it in, land it, and from the momentum of landing, taxi 10 feet away from you, you shouldn't be flying. That's how I was taught. So what did I have to do? I had to fly around till the nitromethane fuel burned out of the engine, dead stick it in, learn how to bleed off, airspeed to land in the right spot, and then have that momentum carry me and try to get as close as I can to my feet. That's how I learned. So that's how I fly. I fly till the battery's dead. Now that being said, I do have a few planes that I'm really not that keen on flying till the battery's dead. I just picked up that biplane. The video should be up now. The Horizon Hobbies Ultimate 3D biplane. I just picked that up. And biplanes are a complete different ball game than a regular fixed wing plane. Most fixed wing planes, you can dead stick them in. If the battery dies, no matter what position you're in, you should be able to quickly turn into the wind and bring it down. I'm not saying you're going to bring it down exactly where you want it to, But in a position like that, an emergency landing, dead stick, battery dead situation, you should be able to get it on the ground without crashing. That is my opinion. If you're an RC pilot and you know how to fly, you should be able to do that. That battery should die anywhere and you should be able to bring it down, unless of course you're flying over a lake or something like that. Obviously, you know, we're going to take that into consideration. But normal flying situations over in a flight field, if you're a member of a club or something, you should be able to dead stick it in. A biplane, I'm going to cut you some slack on that one, because a biplane, when that thing dies with all the drag from the two wings, that's a rough one. I did it yesterday and got lucky, but that one I'm a little sketchy. I'd cut you some slack on that one. But in general, I think you should be able to dead stick in and land without crashing anywhere if you say you know how to fly, which people who say they know how to fly, a lot of them don't, you know. And I'm not saying I'm an expert. I am far from the greatest pilot ever, but I can fly. Straight up, give me any plane, I can fly it. I'm not going to be knife edging and going to the gnats with it or anything, but I can take it off, fly it, dead stick it, you name it, I can do it when it comes to the basics of flying. So anyway, that being said, why would I want to know what my voltage is, right? I'm cool. I fly till the battery dies and land. That's not how I play, but some people act like I do. But anyhow, I digress. Like I said, with this biplane, and then I have the F-22, which that thing floats like a freaking trainer, but it has the retracts and it's a little bit nicer. So that one I'd like to monitor the voltage and just, you know, take it off, fly it, and then when the voltage gets low, give me enough time, come in, land it nicely. I really don't want to crash that plane. I don't want to crash the biplane. Everything else I could care less if I crash. Those two I want to keep intact. If they do crash, I'm not going to cry about it, but I'd like to keep those two intact. Any of the other ones, if they pile in, who cares? So that being said, I'm searching around, like there's got to be an easy way to do this. There's got to be something I could just plug in, not have to buy a $500 cable, all that other bullshit. Like I'm sure Spektrum, you can monitor the voltage on a Spektrum transmitter, which is Horizon Hobbies, but I'm sure you need a cable or something else that costs $100 on top of the $100 receiver, right? Annoying. So I'm searching around, whatever, and let's get to my box. I come across this, and you know, ironically enough, again, it's RadioMaster. I have a RadioMaster transmitter, right? Now, I think these are basically some type of clone of FR Sky, because RadioMaster seems like they earn their living on FR Sky's technology as far as, you know, transmitter receivers, even though they have the 4-in-1 module in there. But anyhow, I found it's the R168. Is it 8-channel? Yeah, 8-channel receiver. No bullshit stabilizing nonsense or whatever, straight up regular transmitter, and it does have telemetry, right? And this is right in my ballpark, right? It has the options I need, but it's not forcing me to use some bullshit that I don't. That's the problem with the new Spektrum receivers. So this is just a regular 8-channel receiver. It's got a really big ass button to press when you bind it. You're not trying to put a toothpick in a hole while you plug your battery in and all that. Really big button to press when you bind it. And it has your telemetry plugs, and one of them is voltage. Now the glory of this setup is all you need to do is run a wire from your positive battery lead into the pin that's the same size as your regular servo pins, which you could just take any servo wire and modify that and use it on your battery. Do it yourself. Not $100 for the wire. You can make your own. Now, if you don't know how to do any of that, you have the money, you don't mind spending it. I think Buddy RC and a couple other places actually have one. It looks like they probably make it in their shop anyway. It's definitely homemade. It's not from RadioMaster. That plugs in between your battery and then gives you the plug to go into here. But you can easily make your own cable. I can make this cable in probably 5 minutes and plug it in and have it working. So now I've got the battery telemetry. That is the one thing I've been wanting for forever. Even though I fly to dead stick, I still want to know what my battery voltage is. At that point, I probably really wouldn't fly to dead stick, because I would just set the battery voltage to right before the battery's going to die, and then I bring it down. Then I'm utilizing my battery. And really quick story, the funny thing is about the fact that I fly till the battery's dead. At the club, everybody's like, man, what kind of battery do you have in there? That thing flies forever. Yeah, that's because I fly for the full use of the battery. I don't set it for 3 minutes and then land and I have 3 minutes left on the battery, right? So I fly, even my F-35, which is pulling like 50 amps, I think I get 5 minutes, maybe even 6 minutes of flight time out of that battery, right? And everyone's like, oh my God, how do you fly so long? Well, that's why. I don't set it for 2 minutes and land. Anyhow, I'm starting to get a little worked up here, right? Because it's kind of a push button thing for me. Because another thing is, everybody always tells me I'm abusing my batteries. Oh my God, your battery's down to 1%. Well, when you put your battery on a battery checker and it says 1%, 2%, that's 1%, 2% to zero. The 0% is based on the low end that the battery can go to without being killed, right? So if I land, I've got 1% of my battery, I am right in the pocket of using the battery. And I get this all the time at the field. Everyone's like, oh, your batteries aren't going to last long. You bring them down to 2%. They're going to last just as long as yours. If you land at 25% and I land at 2%, according to your regular, the testers, I'm right in the same. I am in the window of getting my battery as low as I can without messing it up. Now, if I look checking it at 0%, obviously 0% means I'm at 0, but I don't think that goes into the negatives. So if you bring it down really low and it says 0%, you may actually be lower than what it can handle. At that point, you might be causing a problem. But 9 times out of 10, if you're at 0%, leave that battery sit. It's going to regenerate. I don't know what the science is behind it, but a low battery will sit there, and I don't know, it gets voltage back. I don't know how that works, but if you plug it back in, usually you're going to be at 1% or higher. So if you come in at 0, unplug it, leave it sit, it cools down, hit it on your tester, it's going to be probably 1, 2, maybe even 3%. But anyway, I'm totally sidetracking because it's a push button thing for me, because these people don't really understand batteries. They think they do, but they don't. And I'm not saying I'm the genius, but I know what the low end kill point is for battery, because I've done it many times. So anywho, let's get back to this, getting sidetracked. This receiver, let's go ahead and open it up. And this is the first set of these receivers that I've ever gotten, right? So I'm acting as if I'm know everything about them, but I read a lot before I buy anything. And unless something crazy happens with this, just like I said with the RadioMaster transmitter, everything I read, research that I did before I used it, it looked like it was the bomb, and it is. So here's the receiver. We'll probably get a close-up of it, overlay a close-up. But it's basic, man. It's basic. I mean, it's got the telemetry, and I think the battery telemetry is the only one you need a cable for. It does have, well, maybe not, because it does have the pins here. So maybe for other, telemetry things that you track telemetry-wise, you'll need to plug those in. But all I care about is the battery. I want that battery voltage. That is key. I don't know why every receiver that is telemetry capable doesn't make it like this. Very simple to use. Plug your pin in, plug it to your positive, boom. You got to tune it in on your transmitter. You need to do all that work, but we're just going to assume that we know that, right? And this is just like an overview rant video anyway, so I'm not really going to get into all that right now. I'll do a video later on for that. But that's it. It's a decent size, but I don't care. I mean, I think I have this size in my F-35 probably. Weight wise, I think it's, I don't know, 10 grams. I don't worry about that stuff. And if I have a plane, then I'm gonna put this in, and I'm like, oh damn, it's 10 grams, man. My plane really won't fly unless it's 8 grams. Really? No, it's not gonna happen. I'll put this thing in the smallest plane I have. So weight wise, I think, like I said, it's 10 grams. Who cares? Put it in and fly. Just go F and fly. Quit weighing stuff. Quit weighing stuff with planes that have a 24-inch wingspan. We don't need to weigh our receiver at that point. Sorry. Anyway, getting back to the receiver, this thing looks like it's going to be the bomb. I am going to put it in my Aero Scout today, and I'm going to take it out, fly it, make sure that I can go out far enough and have the range that I need. I highly doubt that RadioMaster put out a receiver that has crappy range with a park jet, but we're going to do all that testing, make sure it's good to go. And if this does what I think it's going to do, which I'm 99% sure it's going to, all those bullshit AS3X receivers are gone, bro. I'm selling them. So hit me up if you want to buy some AS3X receivers. I got like three or four of them. This is probably going to replace, and I'm going to sell them. I'm going to sell them, take that money, and buy more of these. I bought 4 of these because that's how confident I am that these are going to work for me. And not only that, I bought 4 because RadioMaster discontinued them. Classic. This is so classic. This is another rant. This video's got rants galore. This is so classic. Why, when something that comes out that works, that is basic, that doesn't need any bullshitting around, that does exactly what we wanted it to do, why does it get discontinued? 6 months after it was brought out or less. I can tell you why this is. This is a legitimate reason, but this happens all the time. It's almost as if the manufacturer like, oh, we made something that was too good. It's not going to break, or it's not going to do this, and they have to come back and pay for repair, or pay for a new one. You know, like I hear all the time from like the old timers, and maybe I'm getting like that as well. You know, company like they manufacture the quality, like they put themselves out of business. They made something so good that it never needed to be repaired, and that's why they went out of business. That sounds like horseshit to me, but I mean, maybe that's true. But this thing's already discontinued. So I bought 4 of them, and I found a resource that has a crap load in stock. So all my testing on this is going to be like over this weekend. So I'll do some more videos, and probably a little shorter than this one to tell you what I think. And if it's good, I might even buy 10 of these, right? A done deal. Now I have a receiver that does voltage telemetry, very simple. It has 8 channels, more than I'm ever going to use, and I've got a ton of them to swap in and out of my planes. I think if I bought, actually I bought 4 here, if I bought 6 more, if I had 10 of these, I'm good forever, right? I mean, the technology is not going to change, right? The transmitter needs to make all the control surfaces move, and it needs to have a good enough range that I can fly the plane, so when it gets far enough away, it's not going to disconnect and fly away because it doesn't have a long enough range. We're past that point in the hobby. So, in my opinion, I get 10 of these, my RadioMaster, I'm good to go forever. Just my opinion. I could be wrong. Anyhow, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about in the video. I got sidetracked multiple times, but to be honest, I have fun ranting and going over all stuff. And these are all my opinions. Somebody else probably thinks the exact opposite of me, and throw them in the comments. You want to debate it? That's fine with me. Or if you agree with me, throw something in the comments. Or if you know a receiver that is $20, that's 8 channel, that has very simple, easy to set up telemetry, put that in the comments. I'll use that. I'm not a hater. I don't care if it's a Black & Decker receiver. As long as that thing works, doesn't have the bullshit on it, does everything I need, I'm good, right? And for 20 bucks, I mean, this is a steal. 8 channel receiver that works well is good for 20 bucks. So I'm gonna hook this bad boy up today. I might even do a short little like 1-2 minute video, just a follow up to this one with no rants that isn't 10-15 minutes long, however long I've been ranting right now. And I'll let you know how it works, because I definitely will be out flying this on the on my beater, not on the beater Super Cub, because I don't have the gear on that thing, and you saw in the video it keeps ripping that stupid stick mount thing off. Probably I have 2 different Aeroscouts. I got a beater that I rebuilt from 8 pieces that flew into a tree, and I have my regular Aeroscout. So I'll probably put this in the beater Aeroscout, take it out, and just fly around, set up all my alarms and everything, and verify that the battery voltage monitor works. And if it does, boom, 6 more of these are getting ordered. Anyhow, RadioMaster, you're on the hook right now. You're on the hot seat. I'm about to test this bad boy out. And hopefully, message to RadioMaster. I understand why you discontinued this. Supposedly, RadioMaster isn't admitting to this, but supposedly FR Sky gave them a little bit of flack because this may be a little too close to their receivers. Hey, I'm not just possibly not true, but my guess is it probably is, because I heard this receiver works really well. Anyhow, RadioMaster, put something else in the place of this that is easy to monitor my voltage. I will buy them. People will buy them. If you build it, they will come. Hollywood out.